So, hi Aarti, welcome to
Hi,
100
Sonam.
Monologues.
Good to be here. Yeah, great.
And
Great job by you
so,
guys.
thank you very much. Uh, this is Richard Joel.
Hi Aarti, hi.
Hi.
He is the co host
Good
today.
afternoon.
So, I would like you to say something about the challenge that you have seen on social media. What do you think about it?
All the
Uh,
stuff that you all have been doing.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I think it's some of it is quite intense. Some of it is entertaining, and it's interesting to see it coming from different parts of the country
Hmm.
and different kinds of monologues. Yeah, so it's good stuff. Yeah.
And we are also enjoying the whole process,
Hmm.
working on a new
So
monologue every Monday.
yeah, so is it like y'all are deciding as this Monday, like first Monday of the month is this second Monday of the month, or you're just
No,
going
no, 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 no.
with whatever is coming?
It's personal. Everybody chooses their own monologues.
But
So
we
how
do
is
put
it
it up by
happening?
every Monday.
Are people sending it to y'all or by themselves? You all spreading the word? How is it happening?
There are two ways to reach us. One is there is a WhatsApp group. Around 70 odd people are there. So every Monday they send their monologues. And the second way is that people DM us their monologues on Instagram or Facebook. So if we like that, and then when we put that up. So we have a panel of 7, 8 people who look at all the monologues. So that
Nice.
is how. Yeah. So I'd like to ask a few questions. The first question that I wanted to ask was, what would a director look at when watching our monologues?
So I would want to see that some expression that has been said.
Hmm.
If there is some gravity to it, depending on what the mood is, of course.
Hmm.
So there are 3-4 things I will probably look for. Okay, so now if it is, because I think you'll have been doing a variety of monologues, no, it becomes a little
Yeah.
difficult to objectively say. But in terms of how would you hold your face? Is there a direct? Are you giving a direct look to the camera? Are you in?
Hmm.
Is it an internal? Is it an? Is it? Are you projecting externally? At some point, are the pauses coming out right? Uh, are you dropping that emotion when you need to? Are you forgetting that there's a camera there? So things like you make me believe that I'm right in front of you while watching
Ah.
the monologue. That feeling to come through, that maybe that it's a conversation I'm having directly with the director, with the person who's watching. So that would be a great statement to make for me as a director. And
Hmm.
sometimes uh, it just becomes so personal and so beautiful that you actually are just drawn in by the emotional impact of that person, of the story that is being told, of
Hmm.
the feeling that needs to come through, that you know that it feels slightly voyeuristic. So
Ah. Yeah.
so that could be a great perspective to achieve as a actor for a
Actor.
director. Yeah. And sometimes, like, I don't know, see, monologues as such traditionally in Indian cinema or any cinema, we normally end up using monologues in 2-3 areas. One, when
Hmm.
when a lot has to be said, and the best way to achieve it is saying it in a monologue. And
Hmm.
normally climax speeches, achieving some goal, attaining something, there is some catharsis by the end of it, there is some fulfillment by the end of it, there is a journey that the person is sharing. Then all that becomes very impactful in a monologue. So it really depends how and where exactly are you using the monologue. The danger in monologue going dry and dull is when the performance does not hold. Typically, it is the performance is not holding. That's why, of course, there are some badly written monologues also, but
Yeah.
typically you would write a monologue in such a dramatic, drastic function till you believe that it can be performed well. You know,
Mm.
so a lot depends on the performance. Now, for instance, Marriage Story, the
Mm.
monologue in the Marriage Story was so wonderful, and like you could feel the whole emotion of that actor coming out at the very end when he was going on about what his life is. So, like, you
Mm.
know, their entire fight with his wife, and she also, her monologue also against him. So, I think monologue that way can be extremely a powerful tool for an actor as well as a writer.
Mm.
You know, for a director, there's nothing
Yeah.
much really. It's more the writer's medium and the and the actor's medium, and the director's making sure that it is staying true to the narrative that he or she is trying to tell. You know, it's fun. That zone is completely has to be owned by the writer and the actor. You know,
Mm.
so for us to completely lose ourselves for those 2-3 minutes and just listen to what the actor is saying, that has to come through two things: powerful writing and powerful performance.
You talked about powerful writing. I have this question. There are a lot of people who are trying self-written monologues, actors who are writing their own monologues, and they're not professional writers. Uh, some are coming out well, some are not. So, what would you say to those actors?
See, I would advise that when you're starting out, traditionally,
Hmm.
initially, I would say stick to already done monologues. You know, first get a grip on the craft of actually being able
Yeah.
to deliver a monologue. You know, that you have the power to hold an emotion in a particular way. You are able to surprise some line which could be said over here like this. If it is said like this, it can have a
Hmm.
different impact. Just first fluctuate yourself with a existing monologue, because writing is a skill, is an art in itself. You know, and not everybody,
Hmm.
not every actor can actually, you might waste your talent as an actor if you focus too much on the writing of it. So if you're
Yeah.
focused that this is what you want to explore as an actor, then it's better that you go for an existing monologue and keep experimenting with that and show your range with what this monologue I
Hmm.
can do like this monologue I can do like this. And if you feel that there is something in you, because many actors are traditionally good writers also, you
Hmm.
know, so if you have a good story to say, and if you think that there is some maybe try it once, try a self-written monologue once in 7-8 monologues. Try and see
Hmm.
whether there is hello
Yeah.
hello
You're
yeah.
back. You're back.
So try and see if what you're feeling and what you're saying, the kind of articulation that is happening, is actually matching up to what you can express. But yeah, but technically, initially, I would suggest for the first few monologues, go with existing stuff.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think this would help a lot of people.
Hmm.
Uh, and you wanna ask anything?
No, no, I'm good right now. I mean, we have
One
yeah,
question:
just convey the message.
should the focus be on trying out different characters or conveying the message? So there is this one question that has come: should the focus be on trying out different characters or conveying the message in the monologue? Both are equally important, but as a director, like, what do you think an actor should focus on?
I think conveying the message is a little more important, because I would give that a little more. Like I would not like it if the actor is trying out a character for the heck of it. You know,
Hmm.
you have to match whatever character you're choosing with the message. There can't be a discordant note there. You know, so it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, when I see the actor auditioning those lines or that monologue, I should go, oh
Hmm.
God, he got the sur so right. You know, he
Correct.
got that tone and that note so right because he's chosen the right character. But if I see if he's chosen a wrong characterization to perform that, but he's got the so right, I mean, maybe he can do it as as an experiment. First, let him do it the traditional way. So always the way to please a director is that you show what could happen in the director's mind, and then in the next show another variation of what you think you can also do, just to show give the director a range. This is what I can push for also, you know. So that way, you're playing it safe. Then you're covering your ground. You have a good chance to get that role, and plus then you also are showing the director your range. Yeah, I think that would be a sensible way to go about it.
Very useful, actually.
So
This information.
हमने सीखा है ना on set and all. I've seen like even me working with actors, the negotiations that happen between an actor and director, it's so interesting because sometimes you do the one take for, you know, okay, do it my way, and then let me do it my way. You know, let's see what is going to come out of it. So then you're like, okay, chal, for your sake, let's do it your way. And then something good, you will obviously on the editing table choose what is good for your film. You're not going to be ridiculous at that point about your ego. No, my way is the highway. So
Yes, that's true.
so, you know, so that much sensibility as a director you will end up having. But as an artist, at least you've given your best. You think this is a way you can achieve, and then of course you've given what the director wants. So that kind of negotiation you must have with the director.
And now coming to this point, a lot of actors are trying this on their own. They are directing themselves. Do you think they should figure out a partner to work with, or some senior they have an access to? Okay, for some support. I don't know. Maybe if they direct themselves, they might go off the track or something.
No, I mean,
I'm not sure I get the question.
You got it?
sort of. I think what he's trying to imply is that where do actors go for advice before recording the final, the version of the monologue? Because मेरे पिताजी एक बात कहा करते थे कि तुम खुद ही लिखते हो खुद ही मिटाते हो। तो जब तक किसी पढ़े लिखे के पास जाओगे नहीं तो पता कैसे चलेगा कि सही लिखा है कि गलत लिखा है। तो यूपी में ऐसी कहावत अक्सर बोली जाती है। बट मतलब एक्टर्स जो है वो मोनोलॉग कर रहे हैं, अपने घर पे प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं और बहुत ज्यादा समय बिता रहे हैं उसको स्टडी करने में, एक्सपेरिमेंट करने में। So I guess what Sonu is trying to find out is, should actors go for advice? Because adding to his question, what's happening is, this is one monologue. You must have one page, and whatever number of monologues you would have seen, that is the final cut of the monologue per actor, right? So there is really no space to experiment, so to speak, because then a director such as you or other people who are directors and writers would look at actors directly और experiment करके डालने के लिए videos का platform ये नहीं है, that they will only do on their own. So how do you think, what's a good way according to you for actors to get guidance before they execute the monologue?
See, you know, so this is a very good question because when I'm writing my scripts, right? So I always need a feedback process, like, because otherwise you can lose yourself, right? It is given in any creative medium, but the person who's actually giving you the feedback is actually helping you shape the way things are coming. So now for me, my trusted first feedback, I have 2-3 core people whom I actually count on their feedback at all. So you have to have those 2-3 core people that who will give you and you have to have the sensibility to choose those 2-3 core people. So एक आपको एकदम correct critical feedback देगा, एक आपको balanced feedback देगा और एक आपको ego high के लिए feedback देगा, ठीक है? फिर आप उसका एक मिश्रण बनाइए और फिर then you see how you can perform better. If the critical feedback is okay, these lines are just not working the way you're saying it, then fine, redo that bit, and see, be receptive. ओके और जो आपको बोल रहा है कि हाँ ये अच्छा है और ये, तो जो अच्छा है उसको रिटेन करिए, जिसको आप इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं इम्प्रूव करिए, बट हैव दैट सेट ऑफ 3 people in your life who will actually give you a balanced perspective about where you're headed. You know, so it's without feedback it becomes very difficult for any creative person to function, you know. So that is a system I feel you should help evolve around you. And sometimes of course सामने वाला भी बोर हो सकता है यार, जब देखो मैं भेजती रहती हूँ किसी को अपना कुछ लिखा हुआ और बोलती हूँ पढ़ के दिखाओ मतलब या यू नो कोई भी अभी आप एक्टर हैं तो आप बताओ, आई डोंट नो कितने मोनोलॉग सबको ट्राई कर रहे हैं, बट या आई गेस सो एक वो 1 2 3 1 2 3 के बीच में घुमाते रहो.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather pester somebody with acting related questions than कि भाई मैं actor यार कुछ बता दो. पर थोड़ा सा focus हो जाएगा मेरे सवाल.
And now I'd like to open it to we have 2 questions from Mayank and Ria. So Mayank अपना सवाल पहले पूछ लो. It is not related to monologue, I guess. It's related to some film that he has seen of yours. So Mayank.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful cinema that you have created. This is actually thank you so much, ma'am. This is related to your short film Tomica. So एक छोटी सी इसकी मुझे एक कहानी बताऊंगा. So this
जल्दी बताना, टाइम नहीं है हमारे पास.
हाँ. तो ये फिल्म एक्चुअली मेरी एक फ्रेंड ने मुझे बताई थी, मैंने देखी, एंड उसमें से एक मोमेंट आता है कि वो हिरैत. तो मुझे जानना था, how did you come up with this word hirat? Where did you encounter it?
So that is my writer's contribution actually, Meghna, who fleshed out the screenplay. So my brief to her was, I gave her the entire story. I told her that there are these 2 characters who meet on the bus, and how they judge each other on the languages they speak, or फिर at the end of it they decide to get off from the bus together. This was my brief to her. And एक मैंने 1 pager बना के उसको भेजा था, फिर उसने उसको फ्लैश आउट किया और 6-7 पेज में काफी कुछ लिख के भेजा. तो उसमें जो उसने लिख के भेजा, हिरैत was completely her contribution, her thought. कि एक जब आप घर की बात करते हैं ना, that means immediately आप एक intensity, एक emotional value सब आ जाता है वो conversation, right? तो अभी 15 मिनट में मेरे को सब कुछ लाना है, तो इसीलिए I think that's why then that feeling that came in because of that. Now Tomica in fact is a wonderful testament for great acting, I feel, in terms of it's like a very simple written script. Of course there are some beautiful thoughts, like when you read it only 2-3 times you realize, but I think it's more the actors who have taken over the line. Like they have really given it their all, they've jazzed it up, they performed in a way that they actually got into the character. They surprised me so many places. Like some things were very, very beautiful, just organic, just given by, contributed by. That was a very good exercise, because I told them, like जब मैंने उनके साथ workshop किया ना, I said this is a film where the actors are going to take over. So the camera is just going to follow you. You know, so that when they got that confidence कि अच्छा हमको रोल करना है ना, तो मतलब मजा ही आ गया. So that was a good thing. Actually, in one of my films called Udne Do, there is a monologue at the end, which was done by Revati ji, which is quite a interesting experience, because we had only 1 day to shoot with her and we had to do all her scenes in that 1 day. So the monologue, and Revati ji is a Tamil lady, Tamil Malayalam lady. So और जो हिंदी लिखी थी बड़ी क्लिष्ट लिखी थी उनके लिए, और उनको जो बहुत तकलीफ हुई, because एक तो she had to maintain the emotion also. It is a very hard hitting speech, and she had this whole monologue to say. Of course थोड़ा काट के किया, but the fact is that of course she's a stellar performer of whatever 25-30 years, but still, like, you know, she said I'm speaking in Hindi after such a long time. तो एक है ना मोटा उनको इंग्लिश में समझा दिया था, but and she's a director herself also, so it was not a tough also, but it was like slightly tricky also, because it was a very serious thing, and then there was a tendency for her her face naturally lends to a smile, right? So you know, that is the way her face is, कि वो थोड़ा सा भी अपना मुंह खोले तो ऐसे एक मुस्कुराहट से आ जाती है उनके, and it's natural, it's beautiful when it is there. But when it is a somber situation, like when she's addressing the parents at the end, then it became tricky. So you know, those are small things one has to take care as a director also, depending on the artist in front of you.
Yeah, but it worked really well.
Yeah.
In the film. And I think people who have not seen Udne Do or Khamakha should go and watch both these films. They are available on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on YouTube.
Okay. So I think we'll share it in the group and people can have a look at it.
Yeah.
And now I want Riya to ask her question. Riya Mishra?
Hello, Riya, Kabaddi.
Riya, come in, Riya. Mudit, please unmute her.
मुदित साहब रिया को अनम्यूट कर दीजिए.
Okay, मैं अगर रिया ने क्या है, कोई बता देगा मुझे कहाँ है रिया. अगर नहीं है तो मैं उसका सवाल
Riya is here.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
हाँ,
Am
okay,
I
Riya.
audible?
Yes, now.
Yes, you are.
So my question was that as a filmmaker or as a storyteller, how does one balance truth and sensitivity? Because often we are telling the truth about the world. The world is a very cruel place, and how do you portray that? Maintaining a sensitivity to those who are suffering from the cruelty of the world.
Okay, that's a in terms of, it's kind of the kind of person you are, you know. Finally, it's your true nature that comes out in that. If you want to say it in if you've seen Odne Do, it's about child sexual abuse. It's about good touch and bad touch. But I could have gone in a very dark way. I could have gone in a way that could actually hit you and hurt you. But still, I tried to maintain a way in such a way, because of course I was making it for schools also. But I tried to maintain it in that way that, I mean, everybody can see it, and everybody will, like, parents will be forced to make their children see it. It should be at that level. So where Udne Do was concerned, I tried to make it tell a truth as sensitively as possible. You know, even the abuse scenes that are done between the girl and the man, and the boy and the man, and even the parents disclosing at the end. So things like that, small nuances that are there. It's a harsh truth told sensitively is always much more compelling and much more propelling and much more transforming. I personally feel that is a much more better way of bringing about the change that you want in society. And if you are that person who needs to tell the harsh truth really in a blunt way, so that, you know, it hits you, which is also a fair way of going about. It's finally how you want to express your piece of work, right? So if sensitively is a very subjective word. Like, some things I may be sensitive, some things are, you know, in terms of, if it is a harsh truth, then say it the way it is, then that is the only way it is going to bring about a change. Some people transform only after that. Some people transform even in a subtle way. So it, and more, I think mass audience is possibly harsh truth told in a as harsh way as possible. You know, subtleties don't work so much in a country like India. We have too much information flying around us. Things have to be like told in a way and said in a way that people actually latch onto it. But if there are sensitive issues around which it depends who your target audience is, it depends what kind of a film you're making. Now, Japanese cinema is all about subtleties. Japanese cinema is all about saying things much more in a sensitive way. And a Korean cinema, to the other end, is like saying things in a way that will actually make you think, oh God, you will keep thinking about it after the film is also over. right? So it really depends how evolved your audience is, how how you as a person want to share your story. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. For me as a person, I would
Thank you.
say it sensitively.
One question.
Yes, I have a quick question. But do you? It has two parts. Sorry, but do you believe that as a filmmaker that people are actively looking for a happy ending, no matter what the subject is? To be more precise, like a hope or a faith-inducing ending. And if you do, then does that alter the climax of the story as writer, director, to be more precise?
Okay, so for me, happy ending means it's a commercial feature film. Okay, so it
No,
really
not
depends.
from that perspective. I'm talking more from, for example, the film about child abuse. So it could end up in a very dark manner, or it could still instill some faith, some hope, which might uh, have have a writer or a filmmaker twist the climax a little as compared to what's really happening. So, do you believe in that, and does it alter the climax when you're writing?
Mm. So when I am targeting a happy ending or a ending full of hope, right?
Yeah,
So I will try to make sure that the climax reaches to a place where there is a point of no return, or where you're feeling really terrible about it, or it feels like you're pushed to a certain situation, like in Udnedo, you're pushed to a certain situation
right.
um, where whether you'll be able to fight or not fight, or whether you are put in that situation and whether you'll be able to speak up or not speak up. So uh, I would I would make sure that the climax touches that aspect which is not which is actually going on at the back of the mind of everybody in the audience before it reaches the happy end. It's subconsciously I would like to touch all those points which is there even in a jaded audience, which is there in a critical audience, but eventually,
Correct.
yeah, I would want to end it in a hope. You can't be too oblivious about all those points around you also, right? So
Right. Thank you.
So I'll bring the conversation back to monologues. Last question. Does anyone have any question related to monologues, acting?
I mean, I have a acting related thing. But
You can ask. It will be the last question.
question number two. So, uh, the thing is, in a real scenario, when you're actually making a feature film, and obviously you're the captain of the ship, how much time do you actually get with the actors? I mean, realistically, how much time do you actually get with the actors to work on a project before you start shooting, like
So
rehearsals and
typically, it would be great to get at least 5-6 days with the entire actors. You know, yeah, it'll be great to get that kind of time, 5-6 days across 5-6 days, because it'll be difficult to give full days. So across 5-6 days, say 3-4 hours. So that was the kind
right,
of
right.
preparation I'd done for like one of the feature films that I'd worked on. And
Okay.
then of course on set many things change, no? So
Right, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
there is so much work you can do with the actors offset, and then there's so much work that you can push more for on set.
जी.
Yeah, I would like at least 5-6 days.
Yeah, because ये मैं इसलिए जानना चाह रहा था because a lot of actors come from a theatre background or film school backgrounds or no background for that fact, and they've self-studied. So एक real life perspective चाह रहा था कि सबको पता चले, मुझे भी पता चले obviously कि महीना नहीं मिलता है फिल्म पे काम करने के लिए, 5-6 दिन मिलते हैं, तो अपनी तैयारी उस हिसाब से उसी तरह से होनी चाहिए.
Then
Okay, before we
after a point, it's like as a director, I want the actor to do their job. Like I will be there with them for 5-6 days. Like for instance, in Kamaka, I spent
Right.
close to 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours doing that's just a 17-minute film. I spent close to 3 to 4 hours with both the actors, but after that, for 4 or 5 hours, we played.
Right.
So we spent an entire day together. The whole exercise is just a bonding unit exercise where
Absolutely.
all the teething problems are gone, your just inhibitions are gone, a melt has happened, and you're bonding as a unit. Then uske baad on set chemistry jo hoti hai wo to hoti hai. Like then you have to follow the lines, you have to follow. It's just a comfort thing that you're getting into, right? So uske baad to khud ka preparation jo hota hi hai.
Right.
बिल्कुल.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.
And we have one last question. Meghna asks, what is your next project?
So I have a couple of feature films that I've written, and I'm hoping to get one of them going by the end of this lockdown or whatever the state is right now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gaurav has a question. Okay, ask Gaurav. Unmute yourself and ask.
Hi, thank you. I want to ask this thing that, while shooting the monologue, we have chosen a text and we have got into that character and everything. But does the camera angle and the kind of editing we do, does that also matters? Like if we, of course, I've been trying to do a few things, and then I've chosen a particular scene from any movie, and there is a monologue in between, but there are 2-3 dialogues before that monologue and after that monologue. So I've chosen the cover dialogues as well, and once I've shot my monologue, I've edited those cover dialogues in that. So as a filmmaker or as a director, when you see that kind of a shot or that kind of monologue done by an actor, so does that also impacts the performance in your mind that, okay, this actor has done something creatively, or will you be only watching the performance?
I'll be watching only the performance.
Only the performance. Only the
I will
performance.
not be influenced by so much by the presentation. For me,
presentation.
there are two things. Okay, I will be influenced by the performance, and I will be influenced that is this person fitting the role that I have thought. For me, it's the face also, right? Like for me as a director,
the looks basically.
Face or whatever, or might be, oh my God, I was surprised. Achha, he did said this line in a particular way I never thought. So there are 2-3 things for me that work. One is just the performance. Are you able to hold me? Second is what is the kind of innocence you have in your eyes? What kind of emotions you're able to bring in your eyes without me having to without me having to take away my eyes from you. Third is I'm not the one who falls for the presentation. I'm the one who will see whether he has done justice to the role and what confidence he has. And fourthly, I would also my point was that the amount of work that you can do on the look of the character that you have done, if you give effort to that, and if you give effort to the kind of nuances that you can bring in your narration, I think that would impress a director more rather than the presentation of edit and music.
Okay. Thank you.
We want a director like you.
I'll tell you why we were laughing on this, because we've had this question come up every now and then, and I tilt more towards what you said just right now, because there were actors who had genuinely had questions about putting up like a virtual background and jazzing up the set, doing dubbing for your monologue, and there are Sonu and I and more than everybody, we've been actually enforcing the fact that just focus on your performance as an actor.
Yeah.
Just press record on the phone and just
start with it. Research.
Absolutely.
I'd rather spend more time on researching on the character and then developing a character.
Yeah.
And I hope this answers this particular question for a lot of actors.
Yes. And I think we should end this session. This was a lovely session, I personally feel so. And I want everyone to unmute yourselves, and you can
We don't want this session to end, but just keep because time is a factor in our lives.
Yeah.
On earth.
And everybody unmute yourselves and we'll say a collective thank you and end the session. And
Definitely.
Aarti ji, do
Thank
you
you,
want to
thank you,
say
thank you
something
so much.
Before everybody sings,
Pause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for
Acha.
taking your time and coming.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Bhai logo,
Thank
ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up, Aarti,
Thank
would
you
you
so
like
much.
to say something before we wrap up this process?
Yeah, I would love to thank Sonu and Mayank and Richard. Thank you so much for inviting me. I mean, some questions that you all asked actually made me think I should think more, and it was a good experience for me also. So I'm glad to be here with actors. It's always such a creative and such an energy feeding off process. It's just wonderful, and I'm so glad all of you all have taken out time and come and heard me out.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. Such
you so much, ma'am.
valuable advice. Such valuable advice.
I'm going to watch this a few times more and make notes.
तो इसको बार-बार हम देखेंगे और बाकी लोगों यार आप थैंक यू बोलेंगे जैसे हम बचपन में बोलते थे छठी सातवीं क्लास तक 3 2 1
Thank you.
Thank you.
बहुत एनर्जी इंड्यूसिंग मरे हुए एक्टर्स
Be honest.
Yes.
yes be honest
Be honest to whatever you're saying, whatever you're doing. I think that's enough. That will drive you places.
thank you so much Aarti thank you for your time
Thank you so much.
Thank you.